Hey, everybody.
Hi, guys. Well, from the red, white, and blue room in TGIA Tower, Salt Lake City, Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast.
I'm Frank.
And I'm Dan.
Coming up today, well, Dan hinted at it. It's a little bit of America.
It's America. We're going to talk about America.
Yeah, and I'm actually sporting some red, white, and blue today.
You are indeed.
Yeah.
You are
And I tastefully done, too.
Sure. You've avoided looking like a Stars and Stripes Walmart person.
No. That's not at all what I'm doing, but I'm showing my red, white, and blue.
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
nice little...
It's a subdued blue. It's more of sort of a red, white, and gray.
It counts.
Okay. I'll give it to you.
It counts. It's for the 4th of July, it counts.
All right.
And we
it's
are coming to you, actually, from the 4th of July.
It is the 4th of July as we speak.
Yeah. It won't be when you hear this, but that's okay.
Well, maybe some of you.
Well, that's true. Maybe.
Anyway, so we're celebrating America.
Mrr.
We got stuff to talk about. Not all of you are Americans,
No,
so that's okay.
but religion enters the national discussion so much.
Yeah. Well, America is the most interesting place to talk about religion right now because it's so fucking weird
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
However, I'm going to start my first story
Yeah.
in a totally other country.
What country?
And this was sent in to us by a listener in New Zealand. So there you go.
Oh.
This is from the New Zealand Herald.
Okay.
I'm sure it's a fine publication.
It pops up a lot, actually.
So there you go. We're talking about Bishop Victor Silva of the Universal Church of the Kingdom of God. Doesn't that sound nice?
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, he's in a little hot water.
Why?
Well, his church distributed a pamphlet, as churches sometimes do.
Yeah.
That read in part, quote, "For people who suffer with constant pain, deteriorating health, can't work due to illness, incurable disease, doctors don't know what's wrong, dependent on pills, recovery from injury, weight problems, sick children." He was claiming that the prayer will help all of these things if you just come to his church.
Yeah. Okay. That's not an uncommon religious claim.
No. However, unlike the United States of America, the New Zealand apparently has laws that prevent people from claiming that you can cure incurable diseases if you can't actually do it.
What? Really?
Yeah. So
Go New Zealand.
So
Wow.
they were sued by a man named Mark Hanna from the Society for Science-Based Healthcare, and yeah, he said, strangely, and I think this is weird, but apparently he claims that there was no evidence that any of those health issues could be alleviated through prayer. Where does he get that from?
Wow.
Of course it can. It turns out that there are laws. There is the Therapeutic Products Advertising Code Principle 2, and Advertising and Principle 3, which are both violated by this thing. So
what's the situation on the ground in New Zealand? Are there riots?
Are
the religious folk and the believers, are they just freaking out?
The sheep are running in the streets.
Yeah.
There are hobbits everywhere.
Oh, the little we know about New Zealand. Is that what you're admitting to here?
Yeah.
There are sheep and hobbits.
I'm pretty sure their population is like,
And
what do they got? Like 100,000 people in the whole country?
it's about 4.5 million, actually.
Really? You know that?
Off the top of my head. Yeah, strangely.
That is weird.
There are strange... I pick up weird details.
Yeah.
Usually just from... it's not like I sought out, like, let's look up New Zealand's... But I read something, and I believe, if I remember correctly, it's like 4.5 million.
Oh, there you go.
And I remember thinking about that. I was like, wow. New Zealand's like, a real deal country, and that's not a lot of people.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll bet you they have a lot more sheep than that.
Yeah, they probably do. I remember thinking that, well, that's not kind of the population of Oklahoma.
Right.
Yeah. It's kind of...
Anyway, I still think you're a valid country, New Zealand. Frank may not, but
No,
I still think-
I do. That's the thing. Like I know they're legit.
Well, and I
country.
respect them a lot more now that I know that they're like
Small
not,
population doesn't mean
right.
anything.
Now that I know that they'll not let you make claims that could that you can cure diseases through prayer. That's actually it's nice to hear.
No, I think the reason somehow, well, New Zealand has been popping up because of that whole like .com thing, the .coms, the guy who Mega Upload, the founder of Mega Upload.
Oh, I don't know anything about that.
Okay. Anyways, they moved there.
Oh, okay.
New Zealand granted them permanent residency,
I see.
and I followed that story just a little bit because it's anybody with the last who changes their name to .com warrants my attention.
Sure.
So,
Sure.
it was probably something like that.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Anyway, I thought that was cool. This church has now been censored. Not censored, censured
There you go.
for their for their claims.
I love that. I think that's
Yeah.
great. I wish we lived somewhere that was possible.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
Absolutely, that would be good.
It's not. Where do I want to go? I want to go. A good example of how America works. Here's a story from Phoenix. Well, the example in this story, I guess it's not just happening in Phoenix; it's happening all over the place. But this is a really good example of what happens when you have police officers with good intentions.
Okay.
Who decide to take matters into their own hand.
There's never once been a story reported that started with that and went well.
Phoenix police officer Lieutenant Jim Gallagher has been on that police force for 18 years. And he has, through the years, noticed that he keeps arresting the same prostitutes over and over and over.
They don't stop?
They don't stop.
Oh.
The reasons for that, the story, it's not for me to say what happens there, but he decided that he needed to do something different because clearly the current system of arresting a prostitute and having her go to jail for a stay of however much time isn't working.
Isn't inspiring them to not be prostitutes.
Exactly.
Anymore. Sure.
And so he has teamed up with an Arizona State University professor by the name of Dominique Rosepowitz.
Oh yeah.
Who does work in social work stuff, and their goal was to reduce the number of women on the streets by helping them turn their lives around instead of just throwing them in jail.
Okay.
I think that's great. It's
Sure.
admirable, right? That's wonderful. What a wonderful goal.
I agree.
Okay.
I think the other shoe's dropping though.
So in a partnership between the police force, Catholic Charities, and a local Christian church, they've now they're operating a twice yearly sex work sting operation, where whoever they pick up, whatever sex workers they're picking up, are taken to Bethany Bible Church and escorted in handcuffs.
So he's picking them up in under his official capacity as a cop,
as a police officer. This is an actual program of the Phoenix Police Department.
Oh no!
And they are given the option to avoid criminal prosecution by participating in the program there at Bethany Bible Church.
I think they should call it the Jesus or Jail program.
Well, consider with those. I like how that kind of sets up,
Yeah.
Jesus or church attendance is somehow equal in punishment terms. To
Right.
going
Yes,
to,
exactly.
Going to jail.
Oh gosh, I don't know. Jail. No, Jesus. Nah. This one's tough. I really don't. I guess you can preach at me for a minute.
Yeah. Right.
They probably have to
Who's going to choose jail?
Right.
This is forced participation.
What I want to
at
know
church.
is, I want to see their numbers, because I'm guessing that's not going to be any more effective at keeping the girls off the street.
There is, in fact, absolutely no evidence, and the article addresses that any such program like this, because, again, Phoenix is not the only place that has tried this or something similar, and no evidence has ever been submitted.
No, because
that shows that these programs are in any way effective.
I mean, I would guess that if you asked most prostitutes, most of them would claim that they were Christian in the U.S.
Yeah.
Most of them already are. They just don't do it. I mean, the truth is, church doesn't have answers for these sorts of things. Church says the same thing they've been saying for thousands of years, and it doesn't work, and then they just keep saying it. And then they say, and then when it doesn't work, they just say, well, these people are in Satan's hands.
Yeah.
They just won't give up their sin.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they won't, because you don't know what the hell you're doing. You don't know how to stop it. You don't know what you're doing. By the way, just because we as a podcast like to inform our listeners, I will let you know that there are at present approximately 40 million sheep in New Zealand.
That's like a 10 to 1.
Yep.
Did you double check my population?
Yeah, you were right on.
It's actually 4.4 million, isn't it?
It's 4.2.
Oh, is it? Okay.
4.3. So yes, you were right on. And dairy farming has taken over some of it. So it used to be 70 million in 1982. It's dropped down to 40 million.
Which leads me to believe that everybody in New Zealand must have a sheep.
The whole country's made of wool.
Like, how do you have that many sheep?
Houses are made of wool.
Everybody must, I mean, every industry in the country must be involved in the sheep industry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wool or whatever.
Everybody.
Everyone.
It's a
They cannot live their lives without being affected by wool.
It's a muttonous land.
Muttonous?
And mountainous.
Uh-huh.
It's mountainous and muttonous.
And a little lammy.
Lammy, sure. You'll get a little lammy, a little muttonous. All right, sorry. That was divergent.
That was from what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Dan. I'm trying to present a story here.
Well, I mean, I thought we were pretty much done. We concluded that
Okay.
church doesn't cure prostitution.
No.
There's a shock.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, at least they don't go to jail. I'm all for prostitutes not going to jail.
Yeah, but these people are violating the First Amendment.
Of course they are.
Why don't they go to jail?
Well, come on. It's Jesus.
It's the First Amendment
of the Constitution of the United States of
Yes.
America. That First Amendment? Is
Yes.
that the one you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, they violated that. Sure.
Why can't there be jail time for that?
Well,
They're just going to be told, no, stop it.
It's not a violation of the First Amendment. It's a faith-based initiative. Yeah, I don't think you understand how this works. It's a faith-based initiative.
I want people to start going to jail for violations of the First Amendment.
Right? Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
Or you get a choice. You can go. You either have to go to jail, or you have to sit in a room with David Silverman.
Ah, there you go.
For
And who wants that?
for 4 hours.
That's a fate worse than.
Silverman's a fine fellow. Yeah. It's just or with some other such person. Us. You're sentenced to listen to our podcast. You have to listen to.
What a delight, Dan.
You get to listen
Mm-hmm.
to 20 episodes of Thank God I'm Atheist.
Yeah. You have like some sort of interlock device on your car
Right.
that won't start unless you're playing our podcast.
At a volume.
At a certain volume,
At an
yeah.
unignorable volume.
35 on the volume knob.
Dee, 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 dee. Damn it!
Make it stop!
Damn you, Red Rock Hot Club! A Utah man has been sentenced to jail.
Oh, no. What did he do?
He assaulted someone.
That's never acceptable, Dan.
No, but in fairness, the other guy did something wrong too.
What did he do?
he tried to save 3 whole pews at a Mormon ward.
3 whole, not spots.
No, he was
Actual,
saving like 3 whole pews worth of seating.
Well, that's not
3
right.
rows of seats.
But wait a second. So he's doing that, and the guy punches him?
Well, one of those rows. First of all, this was not this guy's normal church. He was visiting. The guy the guy that's saving the seats is a visitor, and one of the seats he was saving was this guy's standard seat. Every week, Mr. Dodge, Wayne Dodge, a 52-year-old man, sits in the same spot in church.
Wayne Dodge.
That's
a good name.
That's a cowboy name.
Yeah, that is. Wow.
This is Plain City, Utah, sort of up near Ogden, I think.
I believe that's right. Yeah.
So Dodge got a little bent out of shape. I saw the man's photo, his mugshot.
Yeah. Does he look scary?
He's one of those guys where his neck is much thicker than the top of his head.
Oh, you give that guy one of the pews.
Give him back his seat. He's a big guy.
How old is he?
52.
52.
So, but what's funny is they got into an altercation.
He's like at the perfect. He is at the peak of old man strong.
Yeah.
52 is like that dude. He could, break you in half.
Yeah. Yep. He's got old man strong going for him. Well, here's the thing. I mean, it's just so funny. They literally take it outside.
They did?
The altercation got so heated they took it outside.
But how does this? Was the pursing of lips so intense in this chapel that nobody like spoke up and was like trying to
It must
get in between them? I don't understand. Nobody said anything?
What you're getting at is something that we need to spell out for our listeners. Because Mormons, remember, we're talking about Mormons here. They're the most passive-aggressive people on the planet. Now, you get a good old boy. He's not going to be passive-aggressive the way a suburban housewife is.
No. Yeah.
But still, in church, there's a sense of decorum no matter where you are.
Right.
And so it's got to be like, oh, I'm saving these 3. No, that's where I sit. No, I need to save these for my family. Listen, I sit in that seat. That's my seat.
Yeah.
I just need to save them. Now you look here.
And it was come to this ward.
It was all quiet and stuff. Now that's just where I sit. So your family can find somewhere else. I'm sure you don't need 3 whole pews. I just can't imagine how it got to this level. But now...
But how did it turn into something out of a Coen Brothers film? I mean,
right?
The dialogue you just created, is insanity.
Yeah. Well, I mean...
You can't have that conversation.
No. How do you have that? You just... Oh,
I'm terribly sorry. I'll sit across the aisle.
Nope, sorry, you can't save seats. Oh, okay. Somebody gives in.
Somebody gives in.
Not in this case.
Everybody knows. I'm sorry. A certain amount of seat saving, fine.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, it's fine.
Right.
I think even just one whole pew is pretty intense.
It's asking a lot.
Yeah. But 3?
It's crazy town.
I don't know that that's allowed anywhere.
That guy needs to get hit.
Yeah. But Mr. Dodge needed to go to the bishop.
Well, yes. Yeah, there are better ways to handle it than taking it outside, but that's what Dodge did, and he got jail sentence for it. He got sentenced to jail. He'll serve 30 days.
Now I'm looking at a picture of this
Oh,
man.
did you find him?
Yes.
He's not an unscary man.
Well, is the mountain man one? Is that?
Oh no, that's not
not him.
This is the guy right here.
This one. Yeah, that's the one I'm looking at.
Yeah. He's a guy that you don't want to mess with.
No.
He's a big guy.
Oh, here's one with him with a goatee.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Also.
Yeah. He's
the goatee is definitely more intimidating than the fully shaved. Do we know if he had the goatee at the time of the incident?
I don't know, but I like to imagine him wearing a suit with cowboy boots. That's what I'm imagining. Anyway, he's going to jail. That's it.
Oh, all right. Well, so it's summer.
It is at that.
Meaning 'tis the season for gay pride.
Do-do-do-do.
That's what happens in the summer. Across our land, cities will celebrate their gay community.
Usually June-ish. Usually it's
Yeah.
June.
Yeah.
Yep.
But they happen throughout because,
Sure.
like, if you're sort of one of the lesser cities and you want a really good grand marshal,
Sure.
you
got-
might
you gotta
need to
wait
do
until
yours a little later in the summer.
gotta wait until the season dies down a bit.
Yeah, because you're not going to be able to compete with San Francisco
No.
for getting a really good grand marshal.
Or New York.
Or New York. And so I guess this last weekend, or it had to be this last weekend, was San Francisco Gay Pride.
Oh.
I'm thinking that's when it was. I actually don't know exactly because it's only peripherally important to this story.
Sure.
So during this year's San Francisco Gay Pride, Burger King issued or started offering the Proud Whopper,
Oh.
and you could get a regular Whopper
Sure.
or you could get a Proud Whopper.
Oh. You go for the Proud Whopper.
You go to the Proud, yeah, of course, because also Burger King's not run by a bunch of idiots.
No.
They picked a Burger King that's like immediately adjacent to all the gay pride stuff.
Like
right?
in the Castro district or something.
Yeah, somewhere. Who knows? But so anyways, so they posted this nice little video, and the video is a lot of fun, and we'll need to post it onto our maybe onto the blog. But it caused, of course, just such. Let me describe what they ended up doing. So it is the exact same burger. It is just the Whopper.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
But it's been wrapped in a rainbow flag wrapper.
Oh, really? That's all it is, huh?
That's all it is. And in fact, I'm going to play the video. Let's see if I can pull this up without making any noise. Okay, yeah. So here we go. It says, what did it say on the wrapper? Oh, we're all the same inside. Okay. So you kind of had to eat your burger, and everybody in the video is like, "Well, I don't get it." And some girls are like, "It tastes different. It tastes better. it's better." And people are like, "No, it's just the same Whopper." And they're like, "No, it tastes better though. Somehow it's sweeter. Is it sweeter?" And so anyways, they unwrap it. Blah blah blah. Anyways, well, as you would expect, conservatives in this country are aghast. They are flipping out.
Yeah, because they're fagging up our burgers now.
I mean, yeah, it is funny. I mean, it does seem like you would want to pander to them rather than to the gay community.
Oh, no.
But anyways,
they know what side their bread is buttered on. They know that. I mean, the tide of American opinion is changing enough.
Yeah.
That,
everybody's jumping on board.
We are going to see rainbow everything. I mean, now is the moment in history to jump onto this bandwagon.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. So,
or should I say, to jump onto this parade float?
Woohoo! So I wanted to read some tweets.
Oh, please do.
That happened.
Oh, I hope
by people who were very, very, very upset about this. Herman Cain.
Oh, I remember Herman Cain.
At the Herman Cain. He says, a lot has changed at Burger King since I was part of the management team there. BK introduces Gay Pride Whopper. I didn't even know he worked at Burger King.
Well, he's been in the food service industry for a while.
I guess that's true.
Isn't he the Godfather's Pizza
He was
guy?
Godfather's Pizza CEO.
Yeah.
This one says, hey, Burger King, want to really speak truth to power? Want to shake things up? How about a Second Amendment Whopper? Be my way, right?
How about this? I like this. What if Burger King introduces a Whopper where you get a free gun, but you have to admit that you're gay?
How
about
there
that?
You go. Yeah, sure. Here's one that says, tag your gay Whopper and shove it. I'm done with you and your dumb shit. You will lose a lot of business over this stupid move. No more for me.
Oh, no, they lost that person's business?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it is a mistake then, obviously.
Here's one that says, Screw Burger Queen. I won't be buying your crap any longer.
Burger Queen, that's brilliant.
That's funny.
They should have come up with that.
I know that they didn't. Let's see. Congratulations. You have just succeeded in offending 50% of the people in the country by taking gay sex out of the bedroom and wrapping it on a burger.
Wow. I do love how like gay equals gay sex. To everyone.
Clearly.
Like all of the haters, they're not just talking about like a person. They're talking about a person's sex. Because
Yeah.
that's what it's about.
That's all they care about.
So
It's gross.
gay rights is all about
Yeah. Hey, listen.
bum sex.
If I think about your sex, it's gross too.
Yeah.
You know?
No, it's hot.
No, there's a picture of this guy.
Oh, really?
Well, because they're pulled off of
Oh,
Twitter
right.
feeds.
Let me see.
No, you really can't tell.
Oh, okay.
I was just saying it to say it.
You're right.
New rapper? Hope you go out of business. I want to rapper the Italian flag on Columbus Day. Bet that'll never happen.
Wait, what? What I love about Twitter is how lucid everyone seems on Twitter. Everybody's very good at presenting their points and being clear.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Such a shame. I never thought this day would come because I think Burger King is so much better than McDonald's and Wendy's. But sadly, the stupidity of this new product and the exposed hidden agenda outweighs the delicious taste of a Whopper for me. So I am done eating at BK. Go Chick-fil-A, go.
Oh my God, that's brilliant.
I guarantee, there's another one. I guarantee no matter how hungry I get, I will never eat again at a Burger King restaurant.
You know what? I'll bet that's not true for that particular person. They're that adamant about it. It means that they go there a lot, and I'll bet they'll get over it. Give it less than a year, they're back in a Burger King.
And then here's, once again, people who... this point consistently just blows my mind.
Okay.
And yet it's one that people go to so quickly.
Sure.
I'm done. As a straight Christian American, I would never ask or expect a Christian Whopper, straight Whopper, or an American Whopper. Because you felt it was necessary to get involved in this issue, I will get involved and no longer dine or take out a Burger King again. Good job.
First of all, I love the use of the word dine as it applies to Burger King. It's fine. I get it.
Yeah, pull out the good silver.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, yes, I get it because it is to me probably the same as the liberals not going to Chick-fil-A because of... No, it's not the same because Chick-fil-A didn't... Chick-fil-A, unlike a place like Hobby Lobby, Chick-fil-A themselves didn't actually...
the business itself was not involved in.
Yeah, it was
douchebaggery.
It was the president of the business who said a bunch of shit.
Right.
Yeah, I mean
that is a little different.
It is a little different, and frankly, I'm on the fence about the whole punishing a business for what its owners say or for in their private lives.
Punish it because they put one stupid pickle on their chicken sandwich. Like that's the reason to punish them.
But I mean, I get it. If you feel passionately about this, they probably should boycott Burger King.
Yeah,
but
they should. Go for it. Guess what? Burger King just picked up so much goodwill.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
So many people who are like, yeah, Burger King. The next time it's a McDonald's and a Burger King, they're the ones who like me.
Right.
Or they're the ones who like my brother or my sister.
Right. I do think it's funny that this battle is being fought in the realm of the fast food joint. I just think that that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, I also like that last tweet about I don't expect my burger to be wrapped in Christian, considering that there are places like In-N-Out that actually put scriptures on their packaging.
Yeah, no, that's true. Let's see. Any more of these? I will no longer eat at Burger King. You fags can enjoy your way.
Faggot your way. Oh my God. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, eat at places that support your hatred.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Personally, just avoid fast food in general. It's a good decision,
Yeah.
you know? And that's not to say that I don't stop and get the occasional burger.
Sure.
I have a couple places that'll get a burger.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know.
I love me a good burger. I'll have a burger.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not
A burger's not the issue.
You shouldn't be going there all the time.
Fries and the fact that you get duped into a soda every time.
It's just tragic.
It is tragic.
It's a tragedy.
It is a tragedy. Because, you walk in and you're like, do you have fresh brewed iced tea? And they're like, no. You're like,
No.
Shit. That means I'm having a Dr. Pepper.
They do serve water,
Yeah, but I want the fries. So if I'm going to get the fries, I might as well get the soda.
They've got you.
There's a system, and it works.
They've beaten you.
They have.
You are
I pay
defeated.
a quarter more, and I get some god-awful beverage I don't want.
The diabetes has beaten down your door.
Oh, shut up. Don't even say that to me. I'm terrified of diabetes.
All right. Well, I'm going to move us on to La France. Vive la France.
Ooh, oui, oui.
Yes.
Oh. Ooh.
Those are your French...
These are my French sounds.
The sounds of the French. Judges at the European Court of Human Rights.
Oh, that's big.
Pan-European.
Yeah. In Brussels? Is it in Brussels?
Where is it now? I don't know where it is. I don't know the where of it.
Get on it, Dan.
Yeah, indeed. Anyway, they have heard arguments on both sides of the issue because if you'll recall, France banned face covering garments in public, such as the burqa or the nakib.
Mm-hmm.
The niqab. I'm
There
switching
you go.
my
There you
vowels
go.
there.
It's in Strasbourg, France.
Okay.
Just so you know.
So they were sued. The case was brought by an unnamed 24-year-old French citizen of Pakistani origin.
Okay.
Who wears a burqa and a niqab. I'm saying
Both?
Yeah. Leaving only her eyes uncovered. Apparently, they work in conjunction with each other. So she was represented by some lawyers from the UK. And claimed that outlawing a full face veil was contrary to 6 articles of the European Convention. They said that it was inhumane and degrading against the right of respect for family and private life, freedom of thought, conscience, and, of course, religion.
But what happens when the practice itself is degrading and dehumanizing?
Well, I think each individual gets to determine what degrades them. If it's done by choice, I mean... Really,
the problem is that you know how these things work. It's not really choice.
Well, indeed, but it is because the person is not being forced to do it by the government. I mean, the point at which it becomes a problem is when the government forces a degrading thing on a person. Anyway, she wants to wear it. It's been tried in this court. The court has upheld France's position.
Interesting.
Yeah. So France claims that the reason behind it is not to put Muslims down, but rather that you can't have a friendly rule of law state if people can't see each other's faces. That somehow seeing someone's full face is key and a necessary component of a society with the rule of law.
Interesting.
And Belgium was participating with them on this, I believe. Was it Belgium? I think it was Belgium.
As another country that was outlawing?
That has done the same thing. So they were also yeah, it frees, yeah, it's Belgium. So this ruling frees them to keep this law, and there are other European states that are considering it.
Huh.
It's about they claim that the laws are aimed at, quote, helping everyone to integrate. What if they don't want to integrate?
Well, I mean,
they say
I don't know.
It's about social communication, the right to interact with someone by looking them in the face and not disappearing under a piece of clothing, says Isabel Needlesbacher, representing the Belgian government.
Needlessly.
Boo. Anyway, so that's where it stands now in Europe.
Huh.
They can ban the burqa.
I see. This is a funny thing.
It's a tricky one, isn't
I
it?
can argue on both sides of this, I think.
Now,
I think I really can. And I have.
The complainant
And
was...
I've definitely argued for France, just leave these people alone.
Right.
Give them a generation or two and they'll integrate into your society. You just need a little bit of patience, right? That's kind of...
Or they
But
won't.
I honestly don't think they will.
I don't think
They're
they will.
Very insular communities.
But don't they have a right not to integrate if they don't want to?
Well, why did you move to France? You like the cheese? I mean...
they may have been moving away from dangerous and oppressive
that's true.
regimes.
That's true.
And
they might have had, if they were in sort of the international refugee system, they probably really didn't have much of a choice.
I mean, literally, these
Because
are France's chickens
kinda
coming
just
home
get
to roost.
Countries say we're letting so many people in, and all of a sudden, a bunch of people from one of the camps clear out. Is kind of how my understanding.
Well, but France
France
kind of has to let a lot
place.
of these northern Africans in because they went and colonized these countries.
Yeah,
This is their chickens coming home to roost.
You break it, you buy it.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the same applies to England. Both of these countries went in and said, "These are our countries now," and then you're when you're a protectorate of a country, those are kind of citizens of that country. Like they created this quagmire for themselves. Then when they wanted to come in,
But they didn't know what was going to happen.
Nope. But that's their problem, not ours. But the other thing is that, these people are often refugees from countries where they were in serious trouble if they stayed.
Yeah.
I mean, there are, wars being fought.
Well, now they're somewhere that doesn't want them wearing their thing.
Yeah.
How bad is that?
Well, I don't think it's that bad, but I do I am of two minds about this thing.
I don't know.
I mean, what if I want to go to France and wear a Scooby-Doo mask? Apparently, I can't do that.
It doesn't promote a what was it?
Living together. It doesn't promote social communication.
That's the one. Rule of law is the phrase I was.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Well,
friendly
and
rule of law.
What's
was
interesting?
that the phrase?
No,
Friendly something. You said friendly. Was one of the first.
Where did I see friendly? I don't know.
Huh.
But I do think it's interesting. I mean, the complainant was willing to raise the veil for any law officer or whatever. She was saying that's reasonable. It's reasonable to ask for me to show myself. If a law officer needs to know, or if for a court,
check my ID
or whatever. Yeah, but they still didn't buy it. So don't no Halloween in France, I guess.
I don't think that's the ruling.
I think so. I think it's they've banned Halloween.
As long as you don't dress up in a burqa, you're fine.
Right.
Don't go as an oppressed Muslim woman.
Well, you can go as an oppressed Muslim woman, but you have to go as one who only wears the hijab and not the niqab.
The hijab is
hijab. I keep doing that. My brain's just hijab. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Apparently, I have Islamic dyslexia, and it's a little known disorder. People don't know about it, but it's there.
Yeah.
Anyway, there you go. France, no more of those things in France.
That's just too bad. All right. Let's see. Oh, this is the last one.
Yeah.
So I really don't have to think this through very hard.
Bring it home.
I know which one I'm doing. Hobby Lobby.
Chobe Lobe.
This is a story that's been going on for a while now, ever since the mandate the contraception mandate was made part of the ACA or Obamacare.
Right.
And this week, the Supreme Court finally made their decision with regards to whether or not Hobby Lobby could defy the
ACA.
The ACA.
Yeah.
And only offer insurance for their employees that does not have a contraception, that does not cover contraception.
Right.
So we all know that happened.
Yeah.
We all are probably various degrees of pissed off.
Right.
There
was outrage in the blogosphere.
Yeah. And so I don't really want to talk about it.
Okay.
Or the case. I want to talk about a response to the whole thing. So some clergy in I'm on the wrong page. In Illinois, got together some people from the United Church of Christ and Unitarian Universalists and some people from Planned Parenthood went to a Hobby Lobby where they handed out condoms in protest.
Right.
Which
it's cute.
It's cute, but it's not. Condoms weren't the issue here.
No, but
this is female. This is women's reproductive.
But you can't hand out
rights and issues, and
you can't hand out the morning after pill.
Why not?
Because
that's the appropriate response here.
Yeah, but it's also, well, it's not a prescription drug, but it's a controlled drug.
Well, just have people sign the form.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, so it's cute. They do the whole thing, and they protest.
Yeah.
And
they should hand out IUDs.
See,
but
just little rings.
That's not what an IUD is.
IUD. Oh, the IUD is the one under the skin.
No, the IUD is it's inserted, but it's like a T shape sort of thing.
Oh, I guess I don't know what an IUD is. I know you say it. I was thinking of like the Nuva ring thing. What is that?
Right. I don't know.
That's birth control.
Yeah. Oh,
well,
yeah.
I mean, that's like a
it goes
prescription
up
birth control.
Yeah, an IUD is an intrauterine device. It's a
and what
device.
does it do?
I don't know.
This is the gay man.
It prevents pregnancy. It goes up into the.
How does it? In what is it blocking?
I think it actually is like
pharmaceutical.
I think it's actually irritating everything in there and just making it so that sperm can't get through and eggs can't implant and all sorts of stuff. Serious. There are two types. There's a copper type, and that literally all it does is just irritate all of everything in there and just make it so that
that sounds horrible.
Well, it's theoretically the women can't actually feel it. It just sort of makes everything. I don't know. It disrupts sperm mobility and damages sperm. I'm reading it now.
This is a horrifying device.
You should see the thing. Here, look. Look at that. It's like an anchor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not getting in the way of anything? Where is that?
It's in the it's in the what part is that?
So, okay, but anyway, so you go to your doctor, your gynecologist, I assume.
Yeah.
And he or she puts that in.
Uh-huh.
And it prevents pregnancy?
It's in the uterus. And it just prevents pregnancy. And it lasts for a long, long time.
How long? As long as it's there?
I don't know. We really shouldn't be talking about this because we don't know what the fuck we're talking about. And
fascinated.
right now, my friend April is going nuts with this conversation.
Why?
Well, because she hates when we talk about like women things and there's no woman to talk about it. And because I think she had an IUD and it actually had very negative effects on her and it was really, really hard on her and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And we don't know what the hell we're talking about. We're just trying to sort it out through Wikipedia right now, and that's not the best way to go.
Well,
about.
okay, so anyways.
Anyway.
I'm a little confused now. And I feel completely derailed.
We are derailed. We've gone anyway. But yes, so I mean I get where they're going with this little handing out the condoms thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
But what's interesting...
But I think you're right. It's off the mark.
There's that. what they did do is they got some press, which is good. But it also, like, I mean, when I read the story, I was like, oh, United Church of Christ and the not Presbyterians, the
Universalists.
Unitarian Universalists, they've gotten together. Whoa!
Yeah.
Like, these are barely even like
Churches.
Christian churches anymore. And so I was like, oh, all right. But it turns out when you just start poking around a little bit, there's actually quite a bit of opposition to this decision from places that you wouldn't immediately expect.
Oh.
There's actually, because the fact of the matter is, we like to think that the Christians are all, rabid conservatives.
Right.
And it's just not the case.
No.
And so there have been a lot of moderate voices, religious voices, chiming in and saying, we really don't like this. We really disagree.
Yeah.
It concerns us that you're placing this corporate personhood thing is now basically also letting that personhood have a moral conscience.
Right. Yes.
And
a corporation is now so much a person that they can have a religion.
Right. And
that religion, the identity of the corporation trumps the identity of an actual woman.
Yeah.
A person who actually is alive, who has breath, who has medical needs.
And it's a real problem. And we were kind of talking about how we have a very shitty Supreme Court right now.
This is a scary court.
Yeah.
We've got a scary Supreme Court right now. Because who knows what they're going to do? I mean, right now, the Christians are in this country are completely emboldened.
Yeah.
Between this ruling and the Greece versus Galloway.
Yeah.
Christians are going to start bringing suits left and right.
Yeah, because they know that they have a court that's friendly.
They have a court that's extremely friendly to them. Like, in ways that are clearly, like, not... that are subverting our Constitution, which is their mandate,
right,
to their own religious beliefs.
Yeah.
There's a case... this is... I'll give you an example, by the way, of how emboldened the Christians are. Now, right after this, a letter was sent with signatories from Catholic charities and several others, including Rick Warren.
Oh.
You remember him?
Yeah.
Sent to the president that just said, because the president is considering an executive order. He already did an executive order that there was not to be any discrimination against gays for anybody for any office in the federal government.
Right.
For any job in the federal government.
Right.
Now he's saying that any organizations, charitable organizations as well, that work with the federal government or with federal money, also they can't discriminate against homosexuals.
Oh, okay. Right. Right. Okay.
And this letter would like a religious exemption to that. So
we're going to religion exempt our way to hell in this country.
Only for you gays. It's fine for me.
No, for the whole country.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
It's going to ruin what was once a fine country.
Well, and I have some. We'll discuss some of that in our final segment.
Things are really going downhill.
And
I'm pissed.
The pendulum swings, Frank. The pendulum swings.
No, I'm pissed.
Well, you should be pissed. It's actually pretty infuriating.
I need a.
But I mean, this country only oppresses you if you're gay or a woman. So I'm fine. I mean, if
or
you're
not Christian,
or if you're black, or oh shoot, you're right. Damn it! If you're not Christian, I'm not fine. Damn it!
Yeah.
Now they got me too. They got me too, Frank. They got me too.
That's what I'm saying, Dan. Wake up.
I know.
Pull your head out.
I wonder how many straight white Christian men there are in this country.
Ugh, too many.
Because that's the protected class that's left.
I think we outnumber them.
I know we outnumber
greatly.
them.
Greatly.
By a huge margin.
We need to storm
the castle?
The castle. and
with pitchforks and torches.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'll work.
And take him down. That would solve the problem in the Supreme Court.
We storm the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Just get him out of there. Write him out on a rail.
Did I just commit some kind of federal crime?
I think you might have. I don't think we advocated killing anyone, did we?
No. I said throw them out.
Yeah.
Breaking in and with pitchforks.
Metaphorically speaking, of course. We are, of course, speaking metaphorically.
By making sure that we elect a president who will replace them with an accurate representation of this.
With reasonable humans.
Citizenry of this country.
Right. Anyway, before we get into any more trouble, if you have any questions, comments, or legal advice for our pending defense, you can write to us at podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you can leave us a voicemail at 424-666-8442.
Right. Or you can, what's the other thing?
You can get onto Facebook.
Oh, yeah, you do that. Go onto Facebook at facebook.com/TGIAtheist and look at all of the things.
There's a Twitter feed at TGIAtheist as well.
Oh, wow. We're
Why
going to do the
not?
Twitter.
We did it last week.
Okay.
Keep it going.
And our blog is at thankgodimatheist.com.
All right. We're going to take a quick break. Quick patty break.
Patty break.
And, go Patty boy.
This is Jock, who says in the Old Testament, men had many wives, and it seems like it didn't go against God. Where does it say in the Bible that man should have only one wife?
Hey, I mean, go to Utah and have many. Go to Saudi Arabia, you can have 4. And if you don't like the ones you've got, you say, I divorce you 3 times, and you can go get another one.
Really?
And
that simple?
If you're going to hook up with a prostitute, you marry her, and then as soon as the liaison is over, you say, I divorce you, and you're free to go do it again. That's a pretty convenient religion, isn't it?
I would say.
All right, what about it? The Bible says, as far as the elders, he should be the husband of one wife. It says it in the Bible.
That's New Testament.
Go back in the book of Genesis. For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife, singular, and the twain shall be one flesh.
Yeah.
That's the biblical order. But somehow those kings, I mean, Solomon had 300 wives, 700 concubines. How did he have time for all that?
Yeah, well, some of it was just a collection, I think.
You reckon?
I reckon. Nobody'd want to contend with that.
Nobody's got the strength?
No.
Man, he'd take a lot of vitamins for that poor old man. No wonder he went astray. All right, so much for that. But I tell you what, though, I said when they make these rulings that they're making about homosexuality, when they're making these rulings about other sexual practices, it won't be long before they cancel the laws forbidding bigamy. You know that has to be because, I mean, if after all, if polyamory, if people love each other, according to the Supreme Court, then they're adults and they could express their love any way they want to. So laws against bigamy, it was said by Rick Santorum, I believe, in the United States Senate. Surely enough, those laws will come down, and surely enough, they will.
Well, once you change the definition.
Everything goes.
Yeah.
Okay, but elders, husband of one wife. That's what the Bible says.
It's what the Bible says.
He did not answer that question.
No, it says it in the Bible.
Well, guess what else it says in the Bible?
Dan, it says it in the Bible.
So, I mean, honestly, he should be rooting for polygamy to come back.
Well, yeah, he's an old rich man. He would be one of the first people to benefit from being able to take another wife because he could go get a bunch of young ones.
If he can participate in a benefit from a wife, if he's still capable of that, he's the first guy that could that would get that benefit.
I think even if you couldn't participate in the benefit, as you say, it's nice just to have young people around.
It is. There's many an old man with a young, pretty wife
who probably
on his arm.
Yeah,
who probably doesn't have to do much.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's shocking to me that how easily biblical proponents dismiss the Bible's own recounting of what marriage used to look like.
Oh, Dan. I mean, it's clear. It was Adam and Eve.
Yeah, and then Cain and wives. I think it's like one generation later. I'm pretty sure it was just one generation later. Suddenly it's polygamy.
No.
Adam would have had more wives. She was the only one available.
Yeah.
There was only one woman. It was literally, there was just one choice.
Well, but there was the first attempt as well. There was Lilith, right?
Oh, I don't know about the Lilith thing. Isn't that apocryphal? I don't know. I don't know that story.
Oh. Yeah, they were made from the same clay. And so she had her own voice. That's why Eve was made out of a rib.
Yeah.
Right?
Lamech, who's a descendant of Cain, was the first to have wives listed in the Bible. But,
okay.
I mean, you get 4 chapters into Genesis, and you're already there. There's plenty of there's plenty of polygamy in the Bible. But I mean, it doesn't. That was millennia ago. The Mormons go for that one man, one woman thing, and their polygamy was decades ago.
Yeah, I know.
So it's like you can have. It's pretty easy to have a very what do I want to say? A short memory when it comes to inconvenient beliefs.
Yeah, all right.
Oh, so we have some people write into us. We have some listeners who communicated with us. You'll recall that we talked about Kate Kelly, the excommunicated Mormon woman who was pushing for ordination of women.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Rabbi Gruber. Do you remember Rabbi Gruber?
I do remember Rabbi Gruber.
I love when he writes in.
Sure.
He wrote in and said that reminded him when I compared excommunicated Mormons to women in abusive relationships. He said it reminded him of chained women of modern Orthodox Judaism.
Oh, wow.
The Talmud, he says, based on Deuteronomy, states that only men may divorce women, not vice versa. From ancient times through today, the disappearance of a man without positive knowledge of his death would create a situation where the woman was chained to the man. She could not marry until the issue was resolved.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that wild? And apparently in Orthodox Judaism, that's still the case.
Oh, my
That's
God.
till now.
So he just runs off or disappears in some way. She's stuck.
She's stuck. If they can't find a body...
Because he can't initiate a divorce.
Right.
Wow.
Right. So the rabbis didn't worry that much about a man being present, but refusing to divorce his wife. The reason was that he could always be forced to do so, either through coercive measures, ranging from communal pressure to physical violence.
Oh, yeah.
So, if he was around, they didn't worry about that too much, because if she wanted a divorce, the rest of the community
Badly enough. Yeah.
could get together and be like, "You gotta let her go, man."
Was that your godfather?
I don't know. I don't know what that was.
I could tell by how you were holding your lips.
I was
and your
ready to
hand
do. I was
gestures.
ready to do something, but then I was like, I don't know what to do. I didn't want to do my dumb standard, stereotypical Jewish thing. God, I'm so bad. Anyway, he says today the situation is flipped. Disappearance of a husband is much less of a problem, especially with modern cadaver
times,
identification techniques.
Okay.
However, with the advent, and also with the advent of the Enlightenment, a Jew could leave Jewish society, find another Jewish community, or move. So he's saying that with a Jewish, with a Jew being able to leave the society or find another Jewish community or move, communal pressure has lost its sting.
Oh, right. Okay.
So violence, in turn, lost its legitimacy as a judicial action. So Israel, in which marital issues are legally under rabbinic control, has instituted other coercive measures, from fines and loss of state business, professional, or driver's licenses to jail.
What?
If a man won't let his wife out of a marriage
That she wants to get out of.
right, but they can't. But the rabbis don't use these consistently due to some influential medieval rabbinic authorities who invalidated any divorce done not of the husband's free will. So, and in the USA, these measures are not available, of course, because in the USA, the rabbis don't have control over legal marriages.
Well, they should sue for that because apparently the Supreme Court
right.
might be willing to give them some authority.
Maybe. Some states have passed laws to force husbands to give wives religious divorces as part of civil divorces. However, these have mostly been struck down. So this is interesting. Many rabbis make husbands sign prenups that they will give their wives religious divorces, and that has shown us some positive results.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that amazing?
There's always a way.
So
Give us some time.
Yeah.
And seriously, there's always a way to figure these things out.
But there's no way out of it. The thing is that there's no way out of this stupid rule because it's in the Talmud. It's in the Deuteronomic law,
right.
and it's handed down by God to Moses on Sinai. It cannot be changed.
Wow.
If a woman gets a civil divorce and remarries outside of Israel, she is technically an adulteress, and any children she has are ruled bastards.
That's rude.
And according to Deuteronomy, bastards cannot marry any other Jew except for another bastard or a convert. And any of their descendants are considered bastards too.
Perpetually bastards.
You got a line of bastards. Doesn't matter how married you are. You could be as married as a motherfucker.
But your kids will always be bastards.
And their kids and their kids.
Because bastards can only marry bastards.
Right.
Or converts. That might be your way out.
Yeah. That's some good stuff, Rabbi Gruber.
Yeah.
That's some
thank
good
you.
stuff. Thanks for sending that in.
Oh my God.
Crazy. Coca wrote in. She said, "Hi, Frank and Dan. She a lot of nice stuff about us." And then she says, "Anyway, I was curious what you do with donations. It doesn't matter at all since you're doing the podcast on your own and you don't make any claims as to a nonprofit mission or anything like that. Plus, I imagine just the cost of having a website and publishing a podcast can take a chunk out of your own pockets. Not to mention the fact that you set aside time every week to do it. So just curious, when you get a big donation, do you guys go out for surf and turf? Do you just split the money? Well, again, love the show and keep up the good work." Well, I thought I'd bring this up because it seems a fair question.
It is a fair question.
We do ask for donations and
support.
And we don't necessarily divvy out, tell people what we're doing with it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we have said that we use the money to pay for hosting,
Yes.
both for the podcast and for the website.
That's right.
We did recently have the website revamped, and we had to pay for that.
Cost us a good chunk of money.
There was a chunk for that.
And
to pay for the web
and is still
design
costing.
services, and and let's see what else. When we've had meetups with listeners, we'll buy our dinners.
Sure. We've had to pay for obviously equipment.
There's the microphones that we're talking to you through,
And all of the intermediary equipment between the microphones and our computers. And that costs a lot of money. But in the end, also, we paid for our trip through the South last year.
Yep. In part.
That's true. Some of it came out of pocket,
Yeah.
but most of it was paid for by donations.
We try to keep the money focused on the sort of thank God I'm atheist.
Right.
And even including T-shirt sales.
As yet, we have not paid ourselves anything.
Nope, never taken a dime for ourselves.
Nor have we paid volunteers to the program like our dear Mackenzie.
That's true too.
But in large part, we like to keep all of the money and use it for our purposes for the show.
We'd rather build what we're trying to do rather than prematurely try to make money off of anything.
Right.
Because I mean, might as well just keep it into the. I mean, we have our own ways of paying for our own lives.
Now, that being said,
and we're both fine
Right.
in those regards.
right. That being said, however, we have both expressed a desire to devote more time and
Yeah.
more energy to this thing, but we can't do that until we start making enough money that we could actually pay ourselves.
Right.
So we have a goal of getting enough donation money that we can start to make this a job.
Right.
We would be able to produce video content.
Mm-hmm.
We would be able to spend time, because all of that stuff takes so much time. And right now we have to support ourselves.
Right.
So we can't afford that time.
Right.
So, we keep asking for donations, and part of the deal is that we hope to get to the point where we can let go of some of our money-making schemes elsewhere and devote more time and more energy to producing content for
Right.
you guys.
But ultimately,
So
I was going to say more about it, but I think that suffices.
Right. If you guys want to support that goal, if you guys want to help us get to the point where we can actually produce a lot more content,
Right.
and a lot more really good stuff, and I think we have the good stuff ready to go. It just takes a lot of time to get it done, and we
Yeah.
don't have the time to devote to it.
Yeah.
So if you want to support that, we encourage you to go to our website, thankgodimatheist.com, and click on the support button.
All right.
And that would be helpful. Thanks for writing in, Coca.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hey, Frank and Dan. I wanted to let you guys know, this is Kevin writing. I wanted to let you guys know that you have another Peace Corps follower.
What?
I just finished my service in Morocco, and I found your podcast while over the seas. Overseas is what he said. I said he didn't write over the seas. That was just me. Anyway, serving in an all-Muslim country as an atheist was really difficult. All day, every day, people tried to convert me, and I constantly had to circumvent the discussion to something else. I finally told my best friend there I was an atheist, and after explaining for a long time it meant that I didn't believe in a creator, it did not go over very well. Anyway, thank you guys for keeping me sane, and I look forward to future podcasts. Also, if you guys have any questions about Islam, let me know.
Yeah. All right. We'll have to
Thanks, Kevin.
put you in the Rolodex.
Indeed. Danny writes in and says, oh, wait. Yeah, I'm sorry. I had the highlighted part unhighlighted. I'm writing to ask or bring up the discussion about losing your faith. Was there a specific event, statement, or maybe just clarity of thought that made you question your faith? Religious people talk about that moment a lot amongst each other. I believe to get more discussions to happen on the topic, we as a community must do something similar. I have listened to every episode of your show, and I can't recall you guys talking about it.
Huh.
For me, he says, as funny as it sounds, what made me start to question everything is when I saw a video with Richard Dawkins, and he was answering the question, what if you're wrong? By the time he was finished answering, I was an atheist, haha. Anyway, he wants to hear our stories. So thanks for writing in, Danny.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got, Frank? Did you have an aha moment, or was it a process?
I think a lot of this I've already said at different points on the podcast, but just as like a whole packaged thing. Before I left on my mission, I realized that I did not have, in Mormon terms, a testimony of the Joseph Smith story.
Oh,
I found it highly
suspect.
I was filled with doubt.
Indeed.
But nonetheless, I felt a lot of, family and community pressure to go on a mission.
Sure.
So I did the whole thing. And I found myself at the Missionary Training Center in Provo, Utah, still with these same sort of set of questions and doubts.
Which
and
is
so
the worst place to have doubts.
it's kind of awful. And so I talked to my little branch president down there, and he said, doubts are not bad. And I'm sure I didn't like fully say I don't have a testimony,
right?
And doubts are not bad, and it's a part of the normal process of faith. That at times you'll have questions, and working through those questions is what's important. Blah 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 blah. And And I probably would have been fine if he'd stopped there. He then proceeded with the whole fake it till you make it speech.
Yes.
Where he basically was advocating, because I questioned, I said, well, in the first discussion, I'm supposed to say that, and the discussions were the back in the day, the set lessons that the missionaries taught. They don't really do that anymore. But so I was like, well, but the first discussion says I need to bear my testimony of this specific part of, the Joseph Smith story, and I don't know that I feel comfortable doing that. And that's when he started in with this whole fake it till you make it. So he was telling me to lie.
Yeah, sure.
To a potential convert.
Right.
And he said that the time would come that the Spirit would bear witness to me, and that I would have a testimony of it. And I was just like, well, but if I have to lie until I know, that seems really kind of fucked up. And so anyway, so I went out on the mission and I tried that for a while, and I continued I just kind of pushed it aside.
Yeah.
Because you learn it, you have it down. I mean, I could probably still get through most of the first discussion in Italian without even thinking about what I'm saying.
Right.
At this point.
Makes it easier.
You have it all memorized.
Sure.
Yeah. And I didn't teach a lot of second discussions, and I probably only taught 1 or 2 thirds.
Right.
And I don't think I ever got past that. There were 6 at the time. And so because it was Rome, Italy, folks. There weren't a lot of people very interested in Mormonism.
What? Shocking.
Crazy. And so, but I got through the whole mission thing. At one point I remember deciding that it just wasn't worth calling it quits and going home early. Because I liked, Italian food a little too much. And, the scenery and sights were definitely worth my time.
Sure.
And a little pain and suffering was probably worth it. And so I just kind of bided my time, got home for whatever reason. And this is one of those things that it's the decision in my life that I'm still kind of baffled at.
Right.
I decided to go to BYU, Brigham Young University
Yes.
in Provo, Utah.
Well, it got you out of Oklahoma.
It got me out of Oklahoma, but I had been planning on going to, OU, which is that's a good school.
Sure.
And it wouldn't have got me out of Oklahoma, but it would have got me out of,
The small town where
Fort Gibson, Oklahoma,
where your family was.
Yeah. And so anyway, so I go to BYU, and BYU did absolutely nothing for strengthening my testimony. In fact, it had the exact opposite result. I had never been around so many Mormons in my life, and I quickly concluded I did not want to spend the rest of my life with a bunch of Mormons. And so, and yet somehow I stayed in Utah.
Right.
Well, but I moved to Salt Lake, and that's totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I one night at BYU, I kind of had my moment of just admitting to myself that I didn't. I remember the thought process went something like this: if I didn't believe in Joseph Smith, clearly I couldn't believe in the Book of Mormon.
Right.
And the Book of Mormon is the foundation of Mormonism.
Right.
And so I quickly concluded that, well, if I didn't believe in Joseph Smith, he didn't restore the gospel, he didn't write this book, Mormonism is not it.
Right.
And I was like, well, is there a brand of Christianity that I might be interested in?
Right.
And I thought about it for a minute, and I was like, well, I mean, this whole Protestant thing makes no sense to me. So it would have to be Catholicism.
Right.
Catholicism is nuts, and has nothing that's terribly attractive to me. So I was like, no, that doesn't work. And I was like, well, maybe it's not Christianity. And then I was like, well, at that point, who cares?
Right.
Right. Like Christianity has this mandate that it's absolutely 100% right, and everybody else is 100% wrong. And
as most do.
But I just, I knew a little bit about Islam, and I was like, clearly not. And I had accepted that I was gay. And so I was like, no Islam. And, yeah. So
there you go.
Long drawn out version of it. But, it took years. Although probably not as long as some.
For sure.
It took me probably about 2 or 3 years from first admitting doubt to being done with it.
Right. My story was, I don't know if, I don't know how interesting it was. I was literally of the age when it was time for me to go on my mission. All young Mormon men are expected to make this, to go on a mission.
To go, not to make the decision.
Right. To go.
Yeah.
You're not required by the rules of the church to do it, but everyone knows that you're supposed to go.
Right. Yep.
I went in to talk to my bishop because I was having doubts.
Mm-hmm.
I had been having doubts for a while. Not about, I mean, literally, I was prepared to accept the church. But my problem was that I had been praying. I had been asking God to reveal himself to me, and he wasn't doing it. He just, I'd gone through about a 6-month period of just literally begging God every night. Please, God, I just need to feel that you're there. I just need to know just something that I know that it's you.
Right.
And not just my own like emotions sort of swaying me or whatever. And I read scripture all the time, and it was very difficult for me. So I went to see my bishop, and he said, you know, we talked about it. He was very sympathetic.
Mm-hmm.
And he said maybe going to the temple will strengthen your testimony,
right,
to use the Mormon phrase. And I said, yes, that's right. Let's do that. I bet it will. Mm-hmm. So the first thing you do when it's time to go to the temple is you sit down with the bishop and you have an interview. So we just went into his office and he opened up the binder that has the temple interview questions in it. And he said, and he started with question number 1. Do you believe in God the Eternal Father and in his Son Jesus Christ and in the Holy Ghost? And I said, well, I don't know. And he said, and he didn't say a word. He just looked at me.
He goes, the correct answer is yes. If you want to get into the temple, the answer is yes.
He just stared at me, and I said, oh, I have to say yes, don't I? And he said, yeah. And I went, oh, okay, well, bye. Literally, I was like, well, I can't say that right now. And he said, okay. And we shook hands, and
you
I
failed
left.
the first question?
I couldn't even do the first question.
Well, you would have had a tough time with the other ones, too.
Yeah. So, I mean, and from then on, it was like, well, then I was like, I was so exhausted by the whole thing of like begging God to do. I mean, it was like literally, if I had owned a whip, I would have been self-flagellating.
Lucky for you, you didn't.
I know. Lucky for my sexy back now that it's unmarred by scars. Anyway,
please.
Anyway, I finally knelt down and I prayed and I said, God, I don't know why you haven't shown up for me. I'm still open to you showing up, but I can't keep doing this.
Right.
So I'm going to relax a bit. And then and then I freed myself to just see what was out there. And the second I took that breath in of just like, okay, we'll just let it go and just see what's really out there. I was like, holy shit. I don't think Mormonism's true. And that was the gay thing that first put me onto that. Like, I was like, well, Mormonism, I had enough friends who had told me that they were gay and that they didn't want to be gay and that they had tried to stay in Mormonism and they tried to not be gay. And I was like, well,
this was 1990 in Salt Lake City.
Yeah. Well, it's 93 or something.
Early 90s.
Right. But where
were all these gay people?
Well, I mean, I was in theater.
Oh.
Come on.
Problem solved.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was like, well, if they're driven to the point of suicidal because they've tried so hard not to be gay and they haven't been able to do it, and they've tried so hard to make the church work for them and it hasn't. I'm like, why would God create a person, make them that way, and then command them not to be that thing?
But see, that's not your place to ask that question.
It was my place because logic had started to invade.
No, Dan, that's not how it works. And that's not how it works.
It was how it worked for me at that moment. So then I was like, you know what? Mormonism's probably bullshit. I'm going to let go of Mormonism. But I still believed in God for a little while. And then but once you start down that path
you start in these like ever expanding concentric circles of like,
well, if I can question this,
then what about the bigger thing? And
right.
what about the larger, I guess it's more of like the Venn diagram.
And once you start releasing yourself from the fear of, these things being wrong, and you just start asking yourself if they're actually wrong, well, they are. And so, there you go.
How dare you question, Dan?
I know.
It's not your place. It's not to be a happy Mormon.
I shouldn't have done it.
You should not have done it.
Shouldn't have done
You could be married in the temple at this point.
Oh, so
You
good.
could have a gaggle of kids.
Oh, yeah.
Working
I'm sure I would.
low-level mid-management job somewhere.
Sure. Yeah, I'd be a good middle manager right now.
Yeah.
Oh, solid.
Yeah.
Working at Adobe or something. Anyway, one more email.
One
and then
more?
We'll
All
call
right,
it
cool.
quits. Laura wrote in, I'm a college student in Georgia, and last semester a group of students at my school got together and decided to start a secular student alliance.
Ooh.
Many students, including myself, looked for one when we first enrolled and came up empty-handed, so we decided to start one ourselves.
Well done.
Good for you. Anyway, we're officially starting meetings in the fall, and I'm excited to help build a community for non-believers in an otherwise extremely religious area. Do you guys have any suggestions on activities or events for a club focused on secularism? We want to keep it fun and avoid stepping on too many toes. As always, looking forward to the next podcast. You guys are great. Well, Laura, I think you've come to the right place because we are geniuses at this stuff.
Full of ideas.
And or yikes. I don't know what to say. I mean,
Speakers. Bring in speakers.
bring in a lot of speakers.
Yeah.
There are plenty of really interesting people. Bring in us. Raise some money and bring us in. We will come out. We will come out and chat with you. But also, I say do a lot of community service because in your area, what you need is good press.
Yeah. Don't adopt a mile, though.
No?
Don't adopt a mile.
Why not?
Because in that part of the country, the Secular Student Alliance or whatever it's called, it's just going to get defaced. Super quick.
No,
the sign.
It'll be fine. No,
Well, I guess most of the people probably won't know what secular is. That's probably why it would still...
No, you adopt a mile of highway that people don't pull over.
Where people
just
don't...
freeway.
Just one that nobody traffics.
No. Don't do that.
We don't even know if Georgia has an adopt a highway program.
I know. But do some community service.
Community service is good.
Outreach is great. I would say
Press releases.
It's
You need to
probably
write press releases about all this stuff.
right,
And send it to your school's paper.
and send it to the
they're
local
always-
papers.
Yeah. Get some press.
Get some press. Go and do good things.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing that can be bad about going out and doing good
And
things.
talk about your positive message. And talk about the fact that you're not out here,
You're not against things.
to rile up the Christians.
Right.
You know?
Right. Don't be against things. That's what I would say. Be for things.
Yeah.
Find what you're for
Yeah.
and go and pursue it.
That's good advice.
And everyone loves an ice cream social.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
And
Have a little secular student date night thing, too.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, although, you get a bunch of secularists and especially, young people.
It's a mess.
It's going to be orgies before you know it. Not that I actually have anything against
I don't
that.
have any problem with it. There was a lot of judgment in how you said that.
I was doing the whole how the religious view us. Although learn from apparently some of our local little atheist groups have had to make rules about how their parties go. No, they know.
Who knows?
Everybody
Who's
knows
they?
because they made the rules. They just had to make sure that there were boundaries in terms of what happens actually at the parties. There are no rules about who can go off with whom.
Right.
But actually at the parties, let's have some boundaries. That's all.
Oh, there were issues.
Mm-hmm. Apparently. Anyway, no big deal. It's fine. Every group gets to determine how they work. So just start out well and you'll end well. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Anyway, thank you all for writing in. If anybody else wants to say something to us, we'll let you know again how to do that at the end of the show.
Yeah. All right. It's the 4th of July, Dan.
Should we sing the Star Spangled Banner?
I think we can spare our listeners
That
any such misery.
torture.
No, well, we started talking about like, well, what if, we don't just want to talk about 4th of July, but how could we like work in a little chat about the state of religion, maybe in America, freedom of religion, and what have you?
America is supposed to be. These United States of America are supposed to be a land of freedom. So what are we looking at here? We've had some recent Supreme Court rulings that have been disappointing.
Yes, for those of us who enjoy freedom of religion.
Yeah.
Who are not religious.
Indeed. So, but, you know, we hear a lot from the right about how freedom of religion is not about freedom from religion. And it's not about, it's you know, they have their idea about what freedom of religion is. And they, you know, you hear a lot of stuff from them.
I think their freedom of religion, in their mind, means that they can get away with anything in the name of religion.
Right. They
whatever their religion requires or, you know, says no to, they doesn't matter what the outside laws are.
Right.
It doesn't matter. And if you're infringing on my freedom of religion.
Right.
Because
exactly. If you're trying to force me to cover my employees' birth control, that's impinging on my freedom of religion.
To not do that.
To force me to do that.
Right.
You are infringing on my freedom of religion. So I found a lovely little article that was what was it, BuzzFeed or something like that.
Yeah.
No, Addicting Info. I posted a thing that was some fun quotes, some quotes. What they called it, and this is about as stupid, but it's one of those clickbait titles. But it's
Got you.
35 founding father quotes conservative Christians will hate.
Oh,
I wonder did Mackenzie post this? Where did I find it? I have no idea where I found it.
Well, anyways, so you were looking at that, and I was like, well, wouldn't it be fun to do like a little? I don't know if we'll be able to achieve a full point counterpoint because I don't know which ones you're going to read. But I'll go find some quotes conservatives will hate.
Right. Or no
quotes from a founding fathers.
The liberals will hate.
Liberals will hate. Yeah.
Right.
You're right. And so I kind of had a hard time.
Did you?
Because I don't think like one of these people. It took me a minute. So I initially searched for conservative quotes, founding fathers conservative quotes, and I did find one.
Okay,
but it was a desert otherwise.
Oh,
of quotes. But I found one on bodybuilding.com.
Okay. I like the source.
So that's where most of my quotes will be coming from. When I realized that really what we're talking about is Christian quotes.
Right.
And I searched founding fathers Christian quotes. Boy howdy, there's plenty of them.
Then they came up.
Then I have a lot of quotes to deal with your quotes.
Okay.
So
do you want me to go first?
Why don't you go first?
Okay.
And then I will rebut.
Okay. I'll just start with an easy one.
Okay.
John Adams in the Treaty of Tripoli said this: "The government of the United States of America is not in any sense founded on the Christian religion."
Oh,
that's a pretty tough one to beat.
Okay, let me find one. Is not in any way founded on the Christian religion.
Right.
Okay. Let me.
You don't have to directly rebut it. Just come up with an interesting quote.
An interesting quote. Okay. Let's see. I want to do. There's so many Thomas Jefferson. Well. Okay. I'm stuck on trying to rebut just slightly. I predict the future for happiness, this is Thomas Jefferson, for Americans if they can prevent the government from wasting the labors of the people under the pretense of taking care of them.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'll hit you back with another Thomas Jefferson.
Okay.
In every country and in every age, the priest has been hostile to liberty. He is always in alliance with the despot, abetting his abuses in return for protection to his own. It is error alone that needs the support of government. Truth can stand by itself.
Oh, okay. I don't really have anything for that.
No.
Well, let's see.
We could go Jefferson for Jefferson here. If you've got a lot of Jefferson, I can...
But his are all like personal liberty and freedom type stuff. Like no free man shall ever be debarred the use of arms. Every citizen should be a soldier, right? Like this is bodybuilding.com.
Sure.
Okay, so
how about this? Christianity neither is nor ever was a part of the common law. That's Thomas Jefferson.
Okay. I don't have a Thomas Jefferson.
That's okay. Go with something
I have
else.
a John Quincy Adams.
Oh, okay.
The hope of a Christian is inseparable from his faith. Whoever believes in the divine inspiration of the Holy Scripture must hope that the religion of Jesus shall prevail throughout the earth. And it goes on. But I think that's sort of... He says this religion needs to be everywhere.
Yeah, he does. His father would be a little annoyed by that, I think. Well, yeah, I'm going to... can I come up with another John Adams? Here's another John Adams.
Okay.
This is from a defense of the constitutions of government of the United States. He says, although the detail of the formation of the American government is at present little known or regarded either in Europe or in America, it may hereafter become an object of curiosity. Well, it has, Mr. Adams. It has. It will never be pretended that any persons employed in that service had interviews with the gods or were in any degree under the influence of heaven, more than those that work upon ships or houses or laboring in merchandise or agriculture. It will forever be acknowledged that these governments were contrived merely by the use of reason and the senses. Bam!
Wow.
I love that one.
Wow.
That one's a smackdown because you hear all the time from the Fox News types. The founding fathers, this is a country based on Christian values. The founding fathers used the Bible for blah, blah, blah. You hear all of that all the time.
Right.
That is a direct and as direct and forceful a refutation to that notion as could be imagined.
Right. What I find interesting is that what I'm hearing from a lot of these quotes from you are founders talking about the role of basically saying no religion in our government.
Yep.
But what you hear from the right are quotes a little bit like this from Thomas Jefferson. I am a real Christian, that is to say, a disciple of the doctrines of Jesus Christ. Or, God who gave us life gave us liberty. Right? It's all about their personal convictions.
Right.
From Thomas Jefferson, who we know was like nothing in this government is,
well, and
the influence of religion.
He himself is the guy that went through and redacted the New Testament and took out everything that made Jesus magic.
Right.
He took out.
Right.
Because he was into kind of the philosophy of Jesus.
Right.
He was not into all the stories of him being magic.
Right. Well, and that's, I mean, that was the times.
Yeah.
Benjamin Franklin, I had this quote that I read to you earlier. He says, as to Jesus of Nazareth, my opinion of whom you particularly desire, I think the system of morals and his religion, as he left them to us, is the best the world ever saw or is likely to see. But I apprehend it has received various corrupting changes, and I have, with most of the present dissenters in England, some doubts as to his divinity, though it is a question I do not dogmatize upon, having never studied it. And I think it is needless to busy myself with it now, when I expect soon an opportunity of knowing the truth with less trouble. I see no harm, however, in its being believed, if that belief has the good consequence, as probably it has, of making his doctrines more respected and more observed, especially as I do not perceive that the Supreme takes it amiss by distinguishing the unbelievers in his government of the world with any particular marks of his displeasure. So, it's
a fascinating quote.
Isn't it? isn't it, though? Like,
Again, saying basically, I like what Jesus had to say.
right.
I don't know much more about it, but I mean, mostly I just like what he had to say.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, was he divine? Probably not, but who knows?
Yeah.
We'll see when I die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, sadly, though, too late once you've died.
Well, yeah, maybe.
So you're not going to know anything. Sure, I guess in a sense you find out by not finding out.
Right. Well.
But you didn't do anything. You're dead.
Yep.
But isn't that interesting? Like,
Yeah.
I'm kind of thinking it through right now, and it seems to me that the pundits talk about their personal beliefs,
Right.
or their willingness to say that Christianity, oh yeah,
And they
Christian teachings are just fine,
And they take these personal beliefs of these men as evidence that the Constitution was meant to protect Christianity in a way that it wasn't.
right, exactly,
In a way that my quotes make it clear
right,
that it was not.
right,
There are some interesting quotes from this from this collection that I thought, you know what, those could be used by either side of this argument.
oh really,
Yeah, there was one that said that was from Charles Pinckney at the Constitutional Convention, who said, "The legislature of the United States shall pass no law on the subject of religion." Well, that ended up not being true. There's plenty of laws about religion, but I mean, that doesn't necessarily go one way or the other, except to say that I mean, I guess what he's trying to get at is that the law shouldn't be about religion. But I mean, you could also say that means that the law shouldn't be manacling a religion. Shouldn't bind a religion in any way. Even George Washington said this, which I perceive could go on either side of both sides of this argument could take this one. If I could conceive that the general government might ever be so administered as to render the liberty of conscience insecure, I beg you will be persuaded that no one would be more zealous than myself to establish effectual barriers against the horrors of spiritual tyranny and every species of religious persecution.
all right.
So that's about, don't persecute the religions.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, Hobby Lobby could frame that one.
Yeah.
Although I think it applies just as well to our argument.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things, though, that I wanted to bring up, and I finally, the thing that I loved most about this list of quotations was that I had never found the quotation. You hear a lot from the right that freedom of religion is not about freedom from religion, and that and it's true that the separation of church and state was meant to protect, in part, to protect the religions themselves from the tyranny of a government who would tell them what they had to believe and what they, all
Or
of
to
that
just utilize the religion for their
own
purposes.
Right. But I had never found a quotation that involved non-believers, people of no belief, before. Well, this one's from Thomas Jefferson.
Okay.
Because religious belief or non-belief is such an important part of every person's life, freedom of religion affects every individual. State churches that use government power to support themselves and force their views on persons of other faiths undermine all our civil rights. Moreover, a state support of the church tends to make the clergy unresponsive to the people and leads to corruption within religion. Erecting a wall of separation between church and state, therefore, is absolutely essential in a free society.
Wow.
I don't think it gets more definitive than that.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I think
Done.
I think I win.
I was sure I'd find something on bodybuilding.com.
Yeah, it is sort of the source for.
It was not fair. I clearly could not get behind these.
No.
And I don't think like them. I couldn't find anything good.
And frankly, we don't care for a fair fight. I don't care.
Yeah.
What I care about is that I think it's very clear that how things were supposed to shake down, and they haven't shook down exactly that way just yet. We may still have a bit to go here in these United States. I'm going to move with the sheep to New Zealand.
Yeah, New Zealand sounds like a nice place.
It's gorgeous.
It's beautiful.
Nice people, I hear.
They're great people.
They put fried eggs on everything. That sounds pretty nice.
Do they?
My first introduction to the concept of a fried egg on a burger was from my friends coming back from New Zealand and going, they put fried eggs on everything. And why not?
Yeah, all right. Well, if you would like to chime in at all,
Yeah, you can.
and respond to anything that we have to say, you can email us at podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Sure, you can do a voicemail. We'd love to hear your voice. All you have to do is just call in. That's 424-666-8442.
You should check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist.
Right, or go to the website, thankgodimatheist.com. You can read stuff that we've written. You can listen to the show there, and you can support our mission here at TGIA and help us bring you more and better stuff.
Indeed. Thanks to Mackenzie for all of the Facebook help. And, and always thanks to the Red Rock Hot Club for the use of their music.
Yep. Happy 4th of July, everybody. Hope you, set things on fire and stuff.
All right, have a good one.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.